got a win now player.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we begin the podcast.
We are live, coming to you live from the Nostalgia Mania, the epicenter of Casa de Money, for another edition of On the Money podcast here live on this Wednesday night as we sit here and just digest some of the things that have happened fresh off of the Kingpins Dynasty startup draft that we had. A couple of the guys were over. We were hanging out on Sunday, drafting, putting our teams together. Super excited to go over that. Excited to go over some of the news and the happenings that are going on within the NFL. Talk some baseball, some live reaction to some baseball action. Wednesday's one of those days where there's baseball literally all day long. Absolutely love podcast day. Started at like at 12:40.
Too early.
Yeah, every Wednesday's going to be like that.
God,
and Thursday. Thursday's 1 o'clock. Wednesday's like 12:40. For all those of you who are in the Sandlot Baseball Association, set your lineups. There's nothing we can do about those little red clouds next to the players' names. But nonetheless, here tonight, as always, accompanied by the one and the only, and the On the Money Sports hoodie, none other than Oscar O'Money Muniz.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just finishing up, making sure everybody knows we're on. I want everyone to know we are. Can't do that. Gonna have a shadow out there.
Your flag?
Oh no, there's no flag anymore.
I'm about to share the page right now.
This isn't gonna be like that day we had the NBA playoffs on the.
We did that a couple of times.
You know, when people thought we were streaming.
What up, Matt? What up, Chris? What's going on, Chris? I know you're loving life right now. Kansas City Royals are kicking ass.
Set your lineup, bro.
Seth, bro. Love you, buddy. Trade rounder, Oscar. The trade talks are spilling onto the podcast.
The best I can do, bro.
Super active day in the Kingpins Dynasty.
It's 2-2s.
As we got negotiations.
There you go.
Live.
I'll give you 2 second-rounders.
And really, folks, it's one of those nights where a trade might get busted here live while we're doing the show because of the fact that the Kingpins Dynasty has been so live ever since the draft on Sunday. The storylines are creating themselves. We haven't even hit the summertime
set
yet.
Your lineup.
And it's just a crazy, crazy time in sports because, like, we haven't even got to the summertime in baseball. We haven't even got to the summertime for training camp in the NFL. And, you know, we're one step closer to the NBA finals, but there's just so much happening in the world of sports right now. Fantasy and reality. You know, it's getting hotter outside.
What up, Paul?
What's going on, bro? Let's go Celtics. Chris, what it do, bro? 2 and a first, a 20.
Chris, what is going up with Chiefs Kingdom?
You guys making the Justin Fields deal live?
Are you guys the new Raiders?
Second and a first for 20. Chiefs Kingdom. There's a lot of bad publicity coming out from the Kansas City
first
Chiefs.
For Fields?
We got.
You just said it was a 1, bro.
Baby.
Now you want 2 picks. I'll offer you 2 2s to supplement that 1.
Pizza. There was a couple of trades that were busted. None other than Mike D himself was super active. I was pretty busy yesterday. Mike was busy today. Do it live. And that's just, we knew that's what it was going to be like the minute that.
Who was it? That was Bill O'Reilly, right?
Bill O'Reilly
on Inside Edition.
Yeah, he went from 0 to 60 so fast, bro.
Quickly. That's just one of the classic moments.
Broke character completely. Just slamming his hand on the table.
Bro, he was pissed, furious.
On some real life Ron Burgundy type shit.
I used to watch Bill O'Reilly at night when he was on Fox News.
Yeah.
For at least from like 03, 04, but then he just got did it. Like
he was looking like your boy Bryce Harper. It's a short fuse.
Bro. Yo, bro, stop aiming for him.
Short fuse.
What's Andrew sending me?
Andrew
should be. I was ready to scrap. What's this? What are we talking about?
He's talking about the scrum that went down in the Phillies and Giants game with Harrison throwing high up.
I only knew about.
I called this last year talking baseball with you. If you remember, we finally got pitching with easily a 500 win team, and these boys are playing some ball. Not only are you a above 500 team, you're a team that is in the mix to win your division. The only problem right now is that you're in a division with the Guardians team that is probably the hottest team in baseball right now. But you're only a game and a half off from the Guardians. It's a 2-team race, and the Kansas City Royals are a pure wild card team right now with the way that they've been playing and the way that Bobby Witt has been playing. Like, probably my best first round pick in fantasy baseball in the couple of years that I've been doing this. They got a lineup. They've got the pitching. Kansas City Royals on the American League side, like, there's a lot to look forward to, especially because the Minnesota Twins aren't exactly like world beaters right now. So Kansas City is fighting.
I was just about to talk trash about Nelson Velasquez, but he hit a home run today, so we're good. I'm getting tired of his 0 for 2s and 0 for 3ers.
The home run shut you up, huh? Usually what works for me.
Damn, bro. You know what killed me Monday, bro?
Yankees,
I had nothing going on Monday.
Nothing
happened. That's why Noli's got the freaking lead on me right now.
Diamond doorknobs, baby. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up, Noli. Keep it up. Beat this guy so that I can take over the division. I went from the basement to the penthouse in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yo,
and we are moving.
I started struggling once the Phillies started struggling. We're one and the same.
Your cycles like run together as far as the struggles go. My bats are alive today. I currently have 6 home runs and like 6 or 7 other guys left to go. Those games are starting right now. Of course, you know, the Phillies and the Yankees are taking the West Coast road trip. So besides
they're going to
today,
be home.
It's been a lot of 9:45 first pitch starts. So I'm excited about that after the game to watch the Yankees hopefully win tonight against the Angels.
He's just as mad as me. I thought I stole this guy, bro.
Maybe Bobby Witt. Tired of him being struggling all year. A handful of good
Trade
games
me Soto, Matt.
Plate.
He's still got Juan Soto.
We might bust a trade in baseball. It's that kind of day, bro. There's trades happening galore. Like, the only difference is now that we have the little red light on, we're on camera discussing these things. But these have been the conversations that have been going on. Like, the GM hats are on right now. It is.
Yo, it's all my fault. Season. Dynasty trades
and
kicked
there
off.
He is, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour.
Bravo,
GM Mike.
Bravo,
in the building. Mike Steinbrenner is in the freaking
GM
building right
Mike
now.
Gillick.
Mikey Roseman is out here making some moves, flipping dimes. And,
Mikey's
securing his future. Bravo to you,
Mikey's
my
the freaking GM from the Rams.
You put on a clinic. What's his name? I can't remember.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
This guy's. You're Brad Pitt right now, dude. You are playing Moneyball in fantasy football. Thank you for giving me the blueprint to move forward. Thank you for setting the tone for the wide receiver
GM Les
market in our
Snead.
league.
Mikey Snead.
In the flesh, bro.
All we gotta do is get him a picture that says F them picks.
And I voted pass on each and every single trade because I was just admiring the technique, bro.
I voted deny the other day just to see. Like, I was like, yo, you can see who does it. I said I'm gonna deny, even though I know it's gonna get passed, but I wanted to see legit if it showed. And it shows who
it shows exactly who it is. And
I was dying laughing.
A promo on the person immediately. For the minute
Matt called me out real quick. Oscar vetoed.
And I followed it up. I was just waiting for somebody to comment on it.
I was dying. I showed the guy at work, Russ. I was like, yo, watch this. Deny. He's like, you're really denying that? I was like, I just want to start something.
Just a quick peek behind the curtain. Our draft was on Sunday. Waiver wire opened up the following day.
The floodgates.
The floodgates opened for the trade market. I'm here making some humble trades here and there, just small things, trying to get my little stacks together. And Mikey Snead woke up today and he chose violence and just and turned his. I was making fun of his team
his
yesterday.
credit, he's been dealing with Alexi for what, 48 hours now?
72 hours.
72?
72
since
hours
Monday,
now.
right?
Yeah. They've been
we drafted
all day.
We drafted Sunday afternoon, and Devin H.A. was on the block as soon as the pick was made.
He was on the block in the 4th round of the dynasty draft. The minute that happened, he was on the block.
I only got mad twice, but I only showed face once. The first time, I just sat there and go, you got me. That's all I said to myself. Then
Bobby
the second time,
nice. I'm gonna check my baseball stats in a little bit.
The second time, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna draft him, throw him on my taxi squad, see what he does. and I was going to do it in that round. And next thing I know, I see you did it. I looked around and I remember, oh shit, everybody went upstairs. And I'm just staring at the thing. I'm like, this son of a bitch. And that's why I just stared at you when you came down the steps.
The Roman Wilson pick?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I wanted to stash him and put him on my taxis.
If there's one thing I know about the Pittsburgh Steelers is that they know how to draft wide receivers. Some teams might miss on certain areas or certain positions, but there's teams that are just good at drafting certain positions, and the Steelers have been able to do that consistently for years. I like Roman Wilson. I like George Pickens. I was able to have this guy over at Casa de Soto so that I could see his reaction to what I was going to do, because I had George Pickens' name circled. He was part of the plan from the beginning. I was doing my mocks. I saw where he was dropping. I was like, this is good value. I wanted to get my wide receivers early. So I go after both of them. I get Roman Wilson. And it was, I wanted no business.
Bro, my last pick was Calvin Austin just cause.
You know what? I don't think that at this point, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts as far as that whole situation goes. But Mikey, round of applause for you, my friend, because that was absolutely amazing. How do you feel about your dynasty team?
Okay, so people probably don't think my team's amazing, but you know what? My team may not be all-stars, but they're consistent. They're going to consistently put up points for me. That is something I am not worried about. Michael Pittman is going to be a machine out there. Brandon Ayuk, we already know how good Brandon Ayuk is. Let's talk about Bijan Robinson, who's going to be a monster, and the shackles
What's up, Eric?
are taken off.
What's going on, buddy?
I sat there, and I'm watching the first round play itself out.
Yeah, what was going through your mind at the time? Oh, just settle down.
I got so excited. So
I love Bijan Robinson, dog. That is your boy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
cornerstone.
I'm gonna break this down from the beginning.
First round?
Yes.
First round breakdown? Okay.
Remind you, I had the 3rd overall pick, and I'm the one that started this mayhem. I started trade season.
I'm glad.
When I gave up my 3rd overall pick for a 2nd, a 3rd, and next year's 2nd. I was the original GM Sneed.
I took the 103. I had the 103 and the 110. So I had 2 picks in the first round.
We all know Dooley got first pick because he got screwed. There's no other way to put it. Dooley got screwed. The league ended early, and it sucked that it ended early.
So we had to do the right thing. He was rewarded the first overall pick in this league.
He went homer. He picked CeeDee Lamb. But the crazy part is, remember, this is dynasty, meaning it continues. This isn't a redraft league. No. So I need everybody to take their redraft thinking and remove it.
You don't throw these guys back into the pool. You keep these guys. You trade these guys.
CeeDee Lamb, number 1 overall. Mikey had made a trade with Nick. So, I mean, not Mikey, Matt. Matt selects Jamar Chase. The man to my right selects Amon St. Brown, 3rd overall.
Sun God, baby. Loving the pick.
Chris picks Justin Jefferson. It didn't matter what the wide receiver situation was to him.
Justin Jefferson falling at your lap in the 4th.
This is the questionable pick. I'm sorry, but I think he would have been there if Mikey stayed put. And I said that to Mikey that day. Garrett Wilson.
That was spicy.
See? I wasn't the only one thinking that.
And when that happened, I was like, here we go.
I looked at that and went,
here we go.
Yep. And I'm just putting my thinking cap, and I'm just telling myself, relax.
That's super spicy. Since Angel retired, why do you think? I mean, it's that's one of those things where you're a baseball fan. No matter what your rivalry is in baseball, we can all rejoice together in saying, sayonara.
Eric, give us a couple minutes. We're gonna touch base with you, Eric.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna definitely get there, and you're gonna have your time to shine. You and Paul.
Yep.
Next, Terrell wins CMC. I mean, at that point, you can't fault that.
6th overall, yeah.
RJ went Brees Hall. Bobby went Jonathan Taylor. Mikey, who made a trade with Alexi earlier, who didn't end up picking again until what, the 5th round?
Yeah, I believe so.
Got C.J. Stroud, which I understood. I'm not gonna lie. I know, quarterback in the 1st round. You got to understand from Mike's perspective.
Somebody had to do it.
He got his guy before, he would have been gone, and somebody was going to pick him in at least 2nd round.
He didn't have another pick for a while, and he got his wide receiver.
Then your second pick Stroud. In the 1st round, because of the trade with me, you took Jahmyr Gibbs. Double stack lines.
And Breece Hall was off the board. So if Breece Hall is there,
I think you take
I'm going Breece Hall with Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I when it comes to Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, like these are the premier 1st round running backs in the Dynasty League with one
Jahmyr Gibbs is gone, and I'm just staring at my phone going, oh, he's not going to fall to me. That's all I tell myself. Like, Robinson is not going to fall to me. Then Matt shocks me, A.J. Brown. I went, oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I said, I'm still not safe.
That was interesting.
Netta takes Tyreek Hill. I was like, eh. Then she takes Barkley on the turnaround. Now I'm like, oh, my goodness. Matt is going to take Bijan. He's going to pair up his, he's going to have a top running back. To our surprise, he takes Puka Nuka.
Yeah, good pick though. I was.
And as soon as it landed on me, not even 10 seconds passed by. Bijan Robinson. You
can only hope that he has the year that we were hoping that he had last year. As far as production goes, as far as that offense, if you draft any piece of the Atlanta Falcons offense, that's what you're hoping with Kirk Cousins coming into the fold.
So then the next couple picks for me, Jackson goes to Bobby, Chris Olave goes to RJ, Ohio State, huh, RJ? Pat Mahomes to Terrell, which I knew was coming. It was either Terrell or it was either going to be Mahomes or Allen. Alexi gets his beloved Josh Allen. Then Chris picked Etienne. I'm like, all right, there's some wide receivers there, but you know what? There's going to be a guy that's going to be the best tight end in the league this year. He already showed it last year. And I think he takes his ascension to being a top 3 tight end this year. And that's my boy, Sam Laporta.
Yeah,
I took Laporta at the end of it because I had a feeling no matter what, I said to myself,
he's arguably already top 3.
I was like, Devontae will be there. Jalen Waddle will be there. Debo might be there. I was like, I'm cool with this.
So Mikey explaining a little bit of his logic. I know Wilson is spicy, but I didn't want to go running back. And Wilson was the best young wide receiver stud available on the board, in my opinion. So him and Stroud is planned for me as far as positions go. And again, you're not drafting for a while, so you're thinking the same thing that I was thinking.
He had to go Stroud.
Where I have to hit these 2 picks and know that I'm not going to be in the mix for a while. So I'm going to miss out on like 25 top players. By the time it's my turn to come back into the mix, I have to have, covered like those 2 spots. You went wide receiver, quarterback. I chose to go wide receiver, running back. But either way, it's like when you're thinking it, you're seeing your guy there. I did a couple mocks where I saw Jahmyr Gibbs going in the back end of the 1st, so I just kept my eyes peeled for him. I just had a really tough decision to make when it came to my turn at the 110 because I was truly torn between Jahmyr Gibbs and Puka Nacua. And I was just sitting there thinking for a while between those 2 guys. But I said to myself, damn, going 2 wide receivers and then not having a running back.
There you go. 34 picks.
Yeah. And my situation was I didn't have another
Dooley
pick.
Was interesting. First 4 picks. CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, T. Higgins.
Short up his wide receiver core. I knew he was going CeeDee Lamb 101. I knew he was going to do that. I knew it for weeks. I was like, I talked to him about it the morning of. I was like, like I figured it's draft day. You know what I mean? You're shooting a text everybody to make sure that everybody's ready. I shot him a text. I was like, you got the 101. You're going Lamb, aren't you? He's like, yes, because I don't have him in any of my other leagues, and I'm going to have fun with this shit. And, we all made some homer picks, and we all, most of us did a little bit of sniping. A couple guys got sniped on the way through the turns and everything. But, like, that's what it's about, shaking shit up and just creating situations that you don't.
I know not many people were thrilled when I picked Mark Andrews. And they looked at me, but you already got Laporta.
Man, You have 2 flex spots. That's the beauty. Like, so we didn't even explain the format to everybody. Like, whoever's not part of the league, it's a 1 quarterback, 2 flex league. So a lot of weeks you're going into this with like those 2 flexes. You got to make them strong because you're going up against opponents that could have 3 stud running backs in starting positions, three stud wide receivers. Like, that second flex spot could make or break you depending on your team build. You have liabilities in your lineup. That's the difference between being able to get into the playoffs and get closer to your league's championship and the prize money and all the glory that comes with it, and being unceremoniously ousted because every week you're playing ring around the rosy with like the Curtis Samuels of the world as far as that flex spot. You know what I mean? Like,
Curtis Samuel was a good flex last year. Let's see if he could do it again 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
He'll be on one of my teams at some point, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like probably one of the redraft leagues where I can just, when I'm done, I can throw him back in the pool. It's one of those, like, wherever I draft Josh Allen at, I'm going to be on the lookout for a Curtis Samuel in the late rounds because it's just, little cheap stack.
That's right. He's with Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, he might take a time away from Shakir. I don't know if people are going to like that.
I don't know. I know who I like in that offense, and I know that I don't like most of that offense. So, yeah, I don't know. When we'll have plenty of time to break down / bash the Buffalo Bills on this pod over the summer, and just try to figure out like where their head is at with the moves that they've made so far. I don't want to take away too much from the podcast on them specifically right now because they don't really have like a lot of major news. Shakir, wide receiver 1 in Buffalo. It's a very low bar. It's a very low bar, wide receiver 1.
I feel like it's going to be wide receiver of the week.
I just want to see what this passing game is.
I don't know how you're going to tell me a slot guy is going to be the number 1 dude.
Spoiler alert. Dalton Kincaid might be the wide receiver 1 of that offense.
Yeah.
Because all those other guys.
Who got Kincaid? Dooley.
I like Dooley's draft.
Dooley got him in the 5th round.
I like his draft. He went young. I went with the Beer Money Gold Jacket Hall of Famer Kyle Pitts. Went with my boy. Similar reasons as all of us picking Atlanta Falcons.
Bro, I played it
we're
smart.
Expecting this passing game to be elevated.
I know the Isaiah Likely pick in
nothing to do with the Bills. Me neither, bro. I wanted no parts of that shit.
The Isaiah Likely pick in the 12th round. I know people looked at me like, but you already took Andrews. Andrews is in the final year of his deal. So there's a chance he could probably move on. So he's going to be a number 1 for somebody next year. And guess who inserts himself into tight end 1 status in Baltimore? Isaiah Likely. And when Likely played, he was getting targets.
It's all strategy. That's what it comes down to. Building for the future, not just like you were saying earlier, a redraft league where you're throwing all the players back into the pool.
The only thing I don't like are my quarterbacks.
Who are your quarterbacks?
And people will say, like, why not? Like,
who are your QBs?
Brock Purdy is my starter. 30 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. If he gives me that next year.
It's funny because of all the bashing of Brock Purdy did last year. That's what makes it funny. That's a funny thing about draft day. It's just sometimes there's some
Brock Purdy's
alliances.
Backup is going to be Baker Mayfield, who quietly threw 30 touchdowns and 4,000 passing yards. And my rookie on the taxi squad, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy.
So if McCarthy pans out, like, I'm Gooch because I also got another stack. McCarthy to Addison. Addison's going to eat, bro.
I think Sam Darnold starts week 1, though. Just week 1. I don't know if you.
I don't think Darnold finishes. I don't think Darnold finishes the year the starter.
I think he's going to make some interesting weeks in the beginning.
Like, people are going to start him.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what your situation is, like if your super flex quarterback room is in disarray or shambles, like if it's a situation where a certain guy may not be ready week 1, like I could see Darnold being thrown out there, and it's the allure of being attached to Justin Jefferson, and having that as your wide receiver 1, and knowing that your quarterback is attached to that, so whatever touchdown he gets, that's a touchdown for you, and it's the first couple weeks of the season.
Paul says Purdy's legit.
Process.
I hope he is, because then he'll take my my dynasty over the top.
Yes, dynasty. I mean, Darnold is still around. He is a Minnesota Viking. They signed him a couple months back. He was picked up in our dynasty league. He's rostered right now. He's ready to go.
Alex.
Does he have him?
I think it's Alex who took Darnold.
And the Kingpins?
Yeah.
Could be.
I think it's Alex.
And I get it, though. You're grabbing a couple quarterbacks. I kind of took the same approach with my quarterback build because I just got like a two-headed monster going on with Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, two guys that I like this year. Herbert under Harbaugh, a real coach, and Kyler Murray with now having Marvin Harrison, and being able to play off of the two guys, play the matchups pretty much, and just sort of secure myself in the situation that I'm in as far as dynasty goes, as well as being able to get my boy Will Levis, who, that was my homer pick through trade. Sell the Minnesota Vikings, buy the Jets getting into the playoffs. Jets, Jets, man. I mean, they kind of fell under the radar because of the unfortunate injury to Aaron Rodgers last year. But this is a super talented, pretty young team, well coached, built well, top 3 defense arguably. And the New York Football Jets can definitely do some damage on the AFC side this year as long as everybody stays healthy. I don't have too many shares of them because, to me, it was just if Breece Hall was there. If Breece Hall doesn't get picked up, then Breece Hall is my Jets investment. And then I didn't come back into the draft until the 403, and the 403 I did. I think that's when I went Odunze.
Yes, you did.
I went Rome Odunze.
I thought about Odunze before selecting Pittman. I thought long and hard, but
it was definitely an interesting point in the draft, having missed out on the second and the third round, and coming back in, looking at what my needs were, and my strategy being that it's 2 flex. So I followed that up with the George Pickens pick because I'm trying to fill up those spaces and have wide receiver ones and running back ones in those flex spots, knowing that some of my competition is not going to be lined up that way. And I learned that I just found I had more success last year going with the wide receiver heavy strategy first. So I kind of deployed that with the dynasty draft, and I'm liking it. It's Sun God, it's Odunze, and it's my boy, the maniac, Mr. George Pickens. As long as he just chills out, that's my insurance policy right there. And the cool thing about drafting Justin Herbert is the fact that all his wide receivers are cheap. Lad McConkey kid, I scooped him up in the draft. Made myself a nice little stack. What up, RJ? Rivers over Roethlisberger. One of the On the Money Sports original posts from the inception of this podcast, as we sit and go over Sunday's dynasty draft, which was a lot of fun. Matt, you got the beeper, buddy. So wherever you are, if you're watching the podcast right now, jump into the dynasty. Because there's some shit going down. It's super active. A couple of trades were passed. A couple of Mike D's trades. He was very, very active today. Winning trades all day long. Came back in the draft in round 4. And Rel sniped me at the 407 and took Dell. I had the 408. I was sick. Took Kelsey. And made the trade. Had to get my guy.
Can't fault it.
So you got exactly who you wanted on draft day, except for you just had to wait a couple of days. It all worked out. You sold Travis Kelce as high as anybody possibly could. And then you come back and you sell your 2026 first and Devontae Adams to get Tank Dell, which is a deal that I like. Something I was discussing with Terrell, that deal before we went live. I love talking about this stuff. I love the strategy behind it. I love the fact that it's 3-dimensional chess in a way compared to, doing your strategy for a redraft league where it's a one-shot kill type of a strategy. In Dynasty, everybody's building. Everybody's strategies are different, and player values are different to different people.
Boats and hoes getting worse by the day.
Yeah. That comment is going to age like spoiled milk. Oh, boy.
Waller can kick rocks. Anyone that doesn't know if they want to play this slate, gotta go.
For me and Mikey, it was tough having to watch the second and the third round play out and all these guys making their picks. And we're looking at the guys being taken out of our queue and just thinking to ourselves, okay, like, where am I going to go with this? What am I going to do when it's my turn to come back in? You know, I was drafting at the top part of the fourth, and you were towards the back end of the fourth round.
This man brought my uncle into this shit.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Sleeper group chat been live. A lot of action going on. A lot of trades happening. And that's what it's all about, man. Nice little sample size of some NFL football going on in the dynasty leagues. If you've done your startup dynasty draft already, who was your first overall pick? How did your draft play out? If you're waiting a little bit.
Sold him for a guy that went around earlier and a second. I was impressed. That's from Dooley.
What up, Rob? What's going on,
I didn't
bro?
want A-Chain. I wanted no parts of A-Chain.
Roj, a.k.a. the king of crash himself. Shout out to the Sandlot Baseball Association. Thank you for tuning in, bro. Appreciate you. Where is Saquon going in dynasty and normal drafts? Well, in our dynasty draft, he went, what, in the third?
Dooley just submitted he has 5 offers in his inbox. I'm going to answer him one of these days. Put the bomb. Put the bomb.
Saquon went in the
second round. First pick in the second round.
First pick in the second. Oh, so Saquon went relatively high. Now, that could be in part because of the offense that he's attached to. Need, like, you know, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. But he, in our dynasty startup, actually went in the second round, which I was a little surprised at. I was thinking he could potentially be a third, maybe fourth round pick, but we are not conventional drafters. Like, that's why it's like I learned a little bit from the mock drafts, but I knew going into this draft that I had to throw the mocks out the window because I was drafting with guys in this dynasty league that are just looking at the board completely different. Look at Mikey with the unorthodox pick of Garrett Wilson in the fifth.
Didn't Mikey destroy Champions? Like, that shit has not left my queue thing.
Champions is no longer. I was the final champion of champions. Now we're in Kingpin's league, and I look to grab myself a new trophy. I fell off in the league the last few weeks, but I'm making the comeback. Hey, all of us are learning together that fantasy baseball is the ebbs and flows of the good statistics with the bad. And you just kind of take the good, you take the bad, and you try to go with the flow of fantasy baseball to the best of your abilities, because there's nothing like when everybody starts hitting. Sometimes they don't hit. Memorial Day was tough for a lot of us. The barbecues were lit and our players were not. So Memorial Day was brutal. Whatever numbers you can get on Memorial Day, you're very grateful.
I'm down
for
by
them.
4 now. I needed that.
Love it, man. I haven't nuked the league. I'm gonna keep it for memory.
Well, I just left it.
Such a long season.
That way
bro.
it gets out of my freaking
and patience with some of these players.
I need that shit out of my thing.
Consistency, patience, and playing the game. Staying ahead of the game. You know, staying ahead of the game, using your ads, making the deals that you have to make. Remember, we have until July 25th in the Sandlot Baseball Association for anybody who's looking to make trades. So you have plenty of time in Sandlot to get deals done. Still have the entire summer. You know, a lot of baseball heads say it ain't completely hitting season yet, but there's a couple of guys like the Corey Seagers of the world who just hit back-to-back days with home runs where it's definitely hitting season for that guy. Yeah, we did because it's dynasty startup. So it's like once we know where the rookies are getting drafted, it's basically fair game. You know, we did our rookie draft in our other dynasty league, which is year 2.
Breaking news.
And then Kingpins, the startup draft, we figured have everybody rostered.
This was earlier today.
What you got?
The Twitter handle is Tyler Webb, Sports and Business. Co-host of Pocket Presence with @Kurt Banker. All right, so developing over 2.4 million football fans who subscribe to the NFL Sunday Ticket could be eligible to receive over $6 billion in damages. That's $2,500 each. This is part of an antitrust case brought against the NFL and DirecTV, back in 2015. The lawsuit alleges that the exclusive packaging of teams' out-of-market rights and NFL Sunday Ticket violates U.S. antitrust law and creates artificially high prices. Put simply, teams should be allowed to individually sell the rights to their out-of-market games to reduce the cost to their fans. That way, fans can just pay to watch their favorite team instead of the whole league. This is the same model teams in the NBA and the Major League Baseball use, which is true. You can order just packages for teams.
Right.
Starting June 5th, league officials, including Roger Goodell, Jerry Jones, and Robert Kraft, will testify in this case, which could finally be ruled on this year. But who else is involved? This class action lawsuit includes 2.4 million residential subscribers and 48,000 businesses. All of them have paid for the NFL Sunday ticket over the past 9 years.
Compensation.
Ding, 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 ding.
You better fill the paperwork out. You about to get paid.
If the NFL is found to have violated antitrust laws, experts estimate damages could be as high as $6.1 billion.
There you go, Rose. We might get some live
A
baseball trades in.
$6.1 billion settlement is 2,448,000 plaintiffs, equaling $2,491.83 per plaintiff. This would also set into motion the ability for teams to sell individual TV packages to their games, like what exists in the NBA and MLB. And these deals could be worth $200 million a year per team. That's bonus salary cap. But the NFL may just want to get this over with and settle with the case to avoid going to trial. They did this in 2022 when the league settled with the city of St. Louis for relocating the Rams to Los Angeles. The settlement amounted to $820 million.
Where are you reading this up?
Off of Twitter.
Oh.
So
fill out your paperwork. You're about to get paid. And Rose and Chris might get a deal going on in the Sandlot Baseball Association because Rose said that his pitchers are on the market and he's looking for a hitter or two. It's that time of the year we start filling out these rosters and looking at what we need, what we don't need, and where we can improve. For all those of you who have been running with DirecTV for years to get the NFL ticket, make sure you fill out your paperwork. Dude, literally, the other day, Heather had filled something out for some competition years and years ago. But I don't know if I even knew her then. And last week, we got a check in the mail for over $900 because they ended up finding fault in that organization's practices.
wow.
And they had to dish out a payment to everybody who, filed for the
Bro,
compensation.
I'm still waiting for payment from TD Bank when TD Bank had the coin machine. And it came up that the TD Bank coin machine wasn't accurate. Anybody who had an account with them, past or present, was eligible for a thing. Where the hell's my money?
Rose saw it too. He saw what you're talking about too. So that's a very, very interesting. Anybody who had DirecTV should look into that because
My parents.
you were paying a lot of money.
My parents. Nick had it. My parents had it. I had it.
It'd be a nice little check. Shit, I mean, back in 2016, we had it. So maybe I need to do my due diligence. We still got the satellite on top of the old TV at Maple. The old TV, the old house.
Yeah.
I got that.
Mine's is still up there.
I'll bring you the satellite dish. Just run me my money. Run me my money. And it serves them right because they're making so much money off this deal that they've got, and they're charging people, money out the wahoo for the package off of YouTube. Especially DirecTV with their spotty ass coverage. Yeah, bro. A breeze will take them out of the.
That'll be awesome where I can just buy a package.
Big inning kicked off in case you want to throw that on.
Huh?
Big inning started already in case you want to put that on.
I'm ecstatic.
Baseball watch along.
You know what? I don't get
breaking
that.
everything down. Oh, with the YouTube?
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. I don't know if they're doing
That's
it on
extra.
MLB Network today.
MLB Network does it sometimes. Damn, do I
They
got
should
the
pay
baseball
everyone
channel?
for that as well.
What?
Talking about the
DirecTV.
Just
I
subscribe
just
to
finally
DirecTV
cut the
in
cord
general.
on DirecTV.
after years.
And
You had it for a long time.
yeah,
bro.
since 2004.
You had it for a very long time.
I had DirecTV since 2004.
The minimum amount of exposure I had to it was enough for me to just be like, damn, these people don't really have shit besides the football. And once they pretty much lost that,
It was over. It was a wrap.
It was definitely. That's when you realize the value of DirecTV as far as standalone and how much money you're paying for that shit.
I was paying $125. I was like, I'm done. YouTube TV gives me almost the same exact channels for $50 a month.
Someone else
I'd be retarded not to.
Go get your DirecTV check, bro. Bring in your satellite dishes because it could be time to collect. And hey, maybe that money doesn't come in for a couple of years, but all I know is
I don't got the baseball channel.
We randomly got a check over the weekend in the mail for $900+ because Heather did her due diligence, filled out some paperwork, and was compensated because it was found that company wasn't doing things the right way.
That's crazy.
It pays crazy money. It's wild. It is. What they're charging people is just outrageous, especially in this day and age when you can stream. You know, like it's just a different world right now compared to before. So it's just the fact that it's like going and buying a pay-per-view for like $70 right now.
Listen,
that's crazy.
They rule against the NFL and it goes to trial and they rule against it, I'll gladly take that money.
And maybe this humbles the NFL a little bit with their money grabs. You know, like chill out with trying to charge us for all these different streaming sites you want to put games on. Like,
bro, they're gonna put more games on Amazon now.
They are. They're working on a new deal. I think they finalized it last week already. I got the notification for it. And Amazon, you might see more games on Peacock. Like whatever their parent companies are and all the, you know, all the partnerships that they've got going on, you're just going to see, you know, you're going to see more football on Nickelodeon because that's been a smash hit. And Nickelodeon has its own football talk show with, what's his name? Burleson. He's doing everything right now. He's got his hands everywhere. CBS broadcaster, Nickelodeon. He's calling games. Like, NFL's making buku bucks. So it's time for you to share some of the wealth with people that have been riding with you through all the years.
So also, another thing that came from NFL Network regarding the NFL, the NFL Players Association is working to finalize a proposal to overhaul the offseason starting as soon as 2025, eliminating voluntary on-field work in the spring in favor of a longer training camp ramp-up, with players reporting in mid-June to early July per sources. So what the plan is to eliminate all those off-season workouts, and then by like the ending of June, beginning of July, not going full training camp, but doing OTA work at that moment, and then the OTA work transitions right into training camp.
So there'll be no more notifications of this person missed OTAs, this person missed OTAs, this person missed.
So their plan is
you'd have those weeks off anyway.
So their plan is it'll give the players more time to rest and recover from the off season. Right. And yes, Rick. So that's one of the things people are questioning too, that the NFLPA is a lot of people saying the NFLPA should hold off on this proposal because they believe the NFL owners are going to be like, okay, we'll do this, but we want our 18th game. And the 18th game, I believe, is going to happen sooner rather than later, which means the NFL's plan is only 2 preseason games, an 18-game season with 2 bye weeks for the teams. Teams will get 2 bye weeks, finally.
That's fair.
Teams will get 2 bye weeks. Fair. And the other part of that is that the owners might even throw in whoever comes off the second bye, whoever's coming off byes plays the Thursday night game. That way, no one's coming off short rest.
Ooh, okay. All right.
And the season won't end until it'll end on President's Day weekend.
They thought this out.
Yeah.
They definitely thought this out.
They're going to try to counter that when the Players Association asks for this off-season thing. And I believe eventually 18 games is going to come. It's going to be more profitable for the league and for the players. But I think player careers are going to be a lot more shorter. I don't think players are going – I think the only player on a team that's going to last 10 to 12 years or 15 years are quarterbacks. I think all skill position players, whether it be the trenches, the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, I believe those players, I think their careers are going to be start to be shortened due to these extra games. And I feel like you're going to start seeing more 7-8 year careers. You're going to probably see more careers where players try to hold on for them 4 years so that they can get their retirement.
To add to that, I think that we're also going to see more teams off on the same bye weeks. Like these bye weeks are now going to knock off like 6 or 7 teams because they're going to try to get these bye weeks done quick and over with, knowing that now you're giving out 2 bye weeks per team.
So you'll probably get a bunch of buys in October and a bunch of buys in December.
Yeah, and there's going to be weeks where there's no buys for nobody in the league. Like
and the players are also going to ask for 2 more players on the roster, which is fair too. I think that's fair too.
Yeah, Oscar was just talking about the fact that the preseason could end up being a 2-game preseason compared to
which
the
sucks
4 games,
because it sucks for undrafted players and those late round draft picks because now you have less time to show yourself, less time to show you can make a team. Also with the fact of veterans, September football is very sloppy. I don't know about y'all, but it's very, very sloppy.
It's drizzling shits.
There's hardly the tackling aspect of it is terrible. You got teams every September. There's a team or 2 or 3 that start off really hot, and then the teams that are good start off bad, and then get it going in October.
Oh, look at what Kansas City looked like until November.
Yeah,
like they were struggling to generate points. They want to move up OTAs and camps.
The beginning of July, end of June.
But
what's going to happen? The owners aren't just going to say, "Okay." They're like, so this is what you want. Well, then this is what we want, and then the players got to counteract that. Like, don't give in to the owner's 18 game. You're eventually going to agree to it, to the 18 games, but don't just react to it. Which is better because I hate these odd numbers. These 10-7s, 12-5. Like, no. 18, football's meant to be even numbers.
18 is an aesthetically pleasing number.
12-4, 12-6. 14-4.
I think it makes sense. And the fact that you're giving out another bye week can cut some of the complaining from the players.
And, can we go back to 6 teams in the playoffs?
I wouldn't mind that. Can we just eliminate
the first 7? I mean, but then again, the argument's always been the 7th seed never won. But finally, the 7th seed did win in the Packers. Yeah. However, look who they played. Who they historically beat no matter what.
Yeah.
So I think you should throw that out as an anomaly.
Forget about it. It's sloppy for the Titans in October and November, too. This is coming from a guy who watched his football team go from 10-1.
They won 1 game after December. Round. What? After the second week of December?
After the Eagles beat the Chiefs and the Bills, you guys went on to shit your pants for 6 weeks straight, and then you got yourselves unceremoniously ousted by Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Jalen Hurts, your franchise quarterback, can't read a defense yet. Yeah, go back to 6 teams. I'm all for it.
The first and second seed should have their spot. But here's the kicker, guys. Okay, not really. I think it's going to add to the level of play. This is coming from Paul. Let's you know what? Let's bring that comment.
Yeah, put it up.
Let's post it so everybody can see at once.
Put it up.
Not really, Oscar. I think it's going to add to the level of play. You get starters for a play, then it's 2, 3, 4s for the rest of the game. Maybe even 3 and 4s just to see who will make it. Stars shine and do or die moments, so I don't think it will take away from the guys on the field on the line to be cut. If anything, it will make the games a bit more college-like when it comes to big plays. 2 preseason games, starters are playing 2 series, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the rest, you're absolutely right, Paul, because there's no way a smart coach is putting his guys out there for freaking a whole half. Maybe the second game they'll go a whole half, but the first they're playing 2 series. I just don't. I think eventually we're going to get to an 18-game season, and eventually, I just think players' careers are going to get shorter. So players need to maximize their profits now.
Get paid.
Because an owner is going to keep being an owner.
Get paid.
But a player has a shelf life. Owners don't.
Get your money because things are going to
And that's
change.
why I'm one of the few Steeler fans that I'm not mad at Cam Hayward right now. I get he's 35, but guess what? When he's on the field and he's healthy, this team gives up only 3 yards a rush. When the man's not on the field, they're giving up 4.8. 4.8. That's a yard, 0.8 more, almost 2 damn yards more. So, no, like, I'm all for players getting their money. And I get there's no right way to do it, but it is what it is. Like,
so with this metric, the real football won't start.
And you're right.
Late October.
So maybe now a team that you normally would have because they started out bad and then they slump and miss the playoffs. A team now that starts bad with with an extra game now. I mean, you already got 1 extra game. Let's look at it like this. But now with 2 extra games instead of the 16 games, you got a chance to flip the script.
Yep.
And actually make a validated push.
And knock somebody else out who hasn't secured a spot, but is right there with you. And guess what? If you're winning those sloppy football games in September, power to you. Like, you don't have your shit together right, and you're still winning.
If you're under 500 by 2 games, if you're under by a game, you still got a shot to change your season around.
And I think that it would be cool if they did this, but do you think that we get one more AFC versus NFC game, or are they going to most likely make it conference versus conference?
Well, now everybody's going to have the same amount of home games.
Yeah.
Adding that extra 1. You know what I mean? Each team's going to get 9 home, 9 away.
Yeah.
And you're right. What I would do with that game, this extra game you're getting, I would have Philly play Pittsburgh every year. I would have the Jets, Giants play each other every year.
How do you go about that extra game? Do you turn?
I would have Baltimore play Washington every year. Try to create rivalries.
Or do you play an AFC team not in your division 2 times?
Wow, imagine playing the same team twice.
Because there are out-of-division rivalries. Like, we are rivals.
I don't see the
Ravens.
NFL doing that in the regular season.
But the fact that it'll mean more for the playoff picture on that side compared to AFC versus NFC not hurting you in the standings. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't see them doing that. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept.
They're not, like, if they add another division game, that would.
But
be
I would
weird
make
too,
it automatically an interconference game for everyone.
Yeah, right. Like, which one would make
like
more
you're doing?
sense?
Like the 17th game now is an interconference game for everyone. Do it with the 18th game too when it happens. I'm not saying it's happening right now, but I think within the next 3 years you're getting an 18th game.
They want to start.
They're going to find a way to work it. They're going to
to
find a way to get that 18th game in by 2026.
If they're going to go about it geographically, then that means we'd be playing like the Falcons every year.
Yeah,
it's just
I think
that
that's
area.
Cool. Listen, that would be awesome. Pittsburgh versus Philly every year. I think that would be awesome.
You wouldn't have to wait till the Super Bowl,
or every 4 years.
Every 4 years to play,
or that once every 2
side.
years when the way you sit. Because I do know now it goes based. The 17th game is based on where you finish in the division. So if you finish 3rd, you play a 3rd place NFC team.
See, and Rick, that's what I'm thinking. Natural rivalry. Like, we have a natural rivalry with the Baltimore Ravens. So it's like you give us that extra game against like a true rival that's not in the South, and it means a lot more for the conference in general.
All just busting out gems.
Yeah, it is. So you treat the 2 games like bowl games: Penn Bowl, Philly versus Pittsburgh, Capital Bowl, Washington versus Baltimore, City Bowl, New York versus New York, the Cowboys versus the Texans. You'd have the Bucks against Jacksonville.
Chargers versus the 49ers.
Chargers versus the Rams. They're right there.
Yeah.
It would be Chargers, Rams, 49ers, and Raiders still. Sorry, guys, but like, like it's just how it is, That's interesting, man. I wonder how they're going to handle that. Very, very interesting.
I think it's going to I think an 18th game is more real than ever now. I think it's happening before 2027. Hey Goodell, me and E just booked your we booked your format.
Yeah, like
for the 18th game.
Now
we're making sure that in your next 18 game schedule, you already said you're going to give 2 buys. You make that second buy or the first, whatever it be. Make every team come into play Thursday. Make them come off the bye. That way, everybody's rested.
Because now it's two different things now. It's every week you're going to get treated to an AFC versus NFC showdown that you normally don't get to see, or you make it AFC versus AFC and NFC versus NFC, and all of a sudden the entire conference becomes more connected. All of a sudden, we are invested in you guys playing the Bills because it means something for us. The fact that you guys are playing them maybe for a second time, the fact that we played both of you guys, and it can completely shift the entire playoff picture. And like Rick said earlier, and the NFL has been doing it, make your last 3 or 4 games of the season division games. Like, go through your division, go through that gauntlet.
Oh, you mean like what they just did to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
And just that way you determine who truly wins
Edmonton
the division.
Just tied the game up.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that determines the division. Like, have everybody play their division teams at the end, no matter what. Natural rivalries on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure how they do the whole. I don't know.
It's because Dallas and Detroit have always played on Thanksgiving. So due to that, that's why those two teams are in there. I thought when they started adding the third game, the primetime game for Thanksgiving, and that first year was Pittsburgh-Baltimore, I thought that was going to be the new thing. Like, Pittsburgh-Baltimore was going to be the new thing. But it turns out the third game on Thanksgiving is going to always be a rotated marquee matchup, which is cool. It's cool. I'm not mad. I just think that there should be 2 byes now for 17 games. I think there's enough time. There's enough weeks. Players will be more rested. You know, speaking about the 4 division games in a row, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't facing their first division opponent until like week 11. Then after that, it's the first time in NFL history that no one has played their division rival for like the first half of the season. That has never been done before. It's about to be done this year. So that's another interesting concept. 18 games is happening, folks, and I think the NFL players are starting to realize it. And I think these younger players look at it more like money, where older players are like, nah, but this is a young man's game, and soon enough, these veterans that have been here are going to pass the torch off to these younger players who are going to be PA leaders, and these younger players are going to be about their money, and they're going to make sure, like, hey, you want 18 games? Well, we want more.
Old school Steelers versus Raiders every year.
That would be hot. We're playing them again this year. That I know.
Old school AFC Central rivalries. Take it back, man. Take it back to the 16 divisions. Give us Jacksonville a third time so we can bully them like we always do.
Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Yeah. Whenever we play the Titans, they have to wear their throwbacks.
Throwback game. Take it back to 1977. Yeah, man. I wonder how soon that'll be in effect. You have that. You have a couple of new stadiums that are going to be built in the next couple of years. Giants 12-5. Are they playing in the ACC? That is one of my best friends in the world, Matt. He came up with this hot take / prediction that the Giants were going to go 12-5 this upcoming season, and it's been a topic of hot discussion among the inner circle. I don't even think other Giants fans are on board with that statement, but it's what he believes. He loves his Giants, and he's saying that those guys are going to go 12-5 this year in the NFC. Don't know about that, mainly because of who their quarterback is. So, but yeah, it's one of the it's in the hot take notebook. I already wrote it down. We've got a couple of hot takes that we've been putting together for a couple of weeks. Of course, hot takes, aka preseason predictions, which we're basically going to be making all summer long. And that is the hill. That's the hill that Matthew is choosing to die on this season. Oh, man.
Yeah, he made his bet. He got a line.
Yeah, he does. And he's doubling down on it with the fact that him and I have our bet going on of Will Levis versus Danny Dimes for total touchdowns. I love the pack this year. Nice. Will Levis is going to have a good season, bro. got too many weapons not to have a good season. And now, not to make it about the Titans, because I feel like this is a two-parter right here. The fact that our head coach now is Bill Callahan. Now we have to see what the Cincinnati Bengals look like, because if our offense basically starts looking like them, except we're wearing blue, and their offense takes a step back, was Bill Callahan like the genius over there the whole time? Like, what does that mean for Zach Taylor and, what he can bring to the table now for the Cincinnati Bengals? I know Joe Burrow's a great quarterback already. I know Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. But this team has lost a lot of pieces over the offseason so far. They've lost more pieces than a lot of football teams. And not for nothing, when we talk about OTAs and people not showing up, as of right now, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, neither is in attendance for the
some basketball
OTAs
news. According to Waj, Cleveland receives permission to interview James Borrego and Kenny Atkinson for the head coach job.
Borrego and Atkinson. Interesting. I heard J.J. Redick is first in line to get the Lakers job.
Well, they still haven't made a decision.
Right.
Meow.
LeBron made a decision that he is going to be a free agent, which could mean, anything, potentially, as far as him just re-signing with the Lakers for a shit ton more money, or potentially going somewhere else, potentially greener pastures. Don't know.
With Aaron Rodgers.
Oh boy, what happened with Rodgers? Did he get hurt?
He was taking his shoe off, limping. Right here, look.
Ain't good. Rolling up his sock, checking his ankle.
Ain't that the ankle that popped?
Oh boy. That's another thing too, folks. Like, as hyped up as we are for the new football season right now, this is the part of the year where you feel like you're walking on landmines, because you just don't know what type of news is going to break on a daily basis, and then what's happening, at these OTAs and at practice, and guys getting hit and their ability to either hit back or stay on the ground. We don't root for injuries. We never want to see players get injured. That's one of the worst things in the world. A lot of players who are smelling themselves, which is why so many guys left. They lost a lot of players. The Cincinnati Bengals lost a lot of players.
Yes, they did.
And
they got T. Higgins, who still doesn't want to show up.
The fact that yesterday another little morsel of information dropped as far as this T. Higgins situation, the fact that they haven't had contract conversations for about a year now. So it's like, it feels like it's news to us that there's this stalemate going on, but it goes beyond that, because when they're in the room together, they're not addressing the elephant in the room. So it makes a little bit more sense as to why he is just not currently present, because dude's unhappy with the way the situation is right now, and he wants his money. Can't knock him for that.
June 1st is this Saturday, right?
Yeah. Brother's birthday.
NFL post June 1st cuts, post June 1st trades, where you can get relief on your salary cap.
Right, that's right.
Will players be on the move this weekend? Will things start to heat up for some players?
I'm tired of hearing about Jordan, but we still here. Nobody's talking about Jordan, bro. You're the first one to bring him up. Nobody in this entire minute, this hour and 4 minutes that we've been going live. Nobody's talking about that.
No, not at all.
Not at all. There's nothing to really say when it comes to Michael Jordan right now. We all know who he is. We need to get back to regular jersey numbers. I think that they're gonna double down on the, like, guys are gonna be able to pick, like, the, like, I want to be a running back, but I want to wear the number 2.
Yeah.
And, like, I want to wear the number 0. Like, I think if anything, it's gonna devolve into just guys being able to wear whatever the hell they want.
I'm just saying.
Oof. Rockies are smashing the
Lakers
Guardians
fans
right
don't
now.
even acknowledge the good old
hurt my parlay. Exactly, Rick. But yeah, what say you about the T. Higgins Cincinnati situation?
He's not going to be there after this year. He's gonna sign his franchise tag after preseason game number 3, and then he's gonna show up. They'll ramp him up here and there. He's probably gonna have a couple soft tissue injuries because that's what happens to players who hold out. The Bengals he's probably gonna still, regardless, have a really good year. And he's leaving because they're not going to tag him twice. Because then you're paying him like $40 million. And they're not going to put $40 million of cap space towards him.
That's tough. Man.
So you can't pay both. I told everyone. They wouldn't be able to keep both. It's going to have to be a decision.
I mean, the fact that you're not even having the conversation.
I even told you Mixon was gone after last year.
I think they were trying to get him out.
They were trying to get him out the year prior.
That's different.
Mixon was trying to get out. They were trying to get
They had their guy though for they don't have a guy right now.
I know
Higgins isn't
Zach
there.
Moss.
No, I mean
running back wise.
Running back wise.
Higgins is going to play, but they also drafted receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
Burton.
Yeah,
Burton is the guy that they drafted.
Higgins is gone. The Bengal fans need the real. I was in AFC North chats, and Bengals fans really thought they were keeping Higgins, Chase, and Burrow. I said, "Are you guys smoking crack? It's not happening."
I thought they were going to keep.
You're delusional.
Yeah.
You can't pay 2 wide receivers $35 million a piece a year, plus your quarterback who's making $50 million a year.
And he was also
who's going to play on defense?
Yes, Brown over Moss all
day. You see what Zach Moss did when he was the number 1 running back on the Colts last year?
That was the Colts, bro. It was Chase Brown all day.
They paid him way too much money, running back money-wise, for him not to get the first crack.
Moss will be in the mix.
I think Moss is going to get the majority of the carries.
Moss will be in the mix, but Chase Brown is RB1 in Cincinnati.
Nah.
Yeah. We'll revisit that conversation.
They're paying him way too much to be a backup.
But either way, it's more opportunity for both those guys.
Yeah, they're going to split carries.
You don't have your Burton is your third option at wide receiver because
saved by the stick. That's wild.
First intermission between the Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Is that what it is?
The Stars and the Edmonton Oilers.
I don't know what the series is. We're watching hockey right now. I got 5 guys on their broadcast right now, probably all former players. This is the Western Conference Finals of hockey, whatever they call it. Of course,
get ready for the finals.
The Rangers in Florida right now in a 2-2 battle as three games in a row for the Rangers have gone into overtime, and I think they're 2-1 or something, or 1-2 in those games.
No one cares about them.
It's been rough. Nobody cares about the Phillies or the Penguins because they're not in the playoffs. We're talking about the teams that are here. Wolves in 7. I don't know about this time.
Nah.
I mean, they won a game. Dallas Cowboys 7-10 this year.
Yo, that's the second Cowboys fan. Skip Bayless said 8-9.
What is happening? Why? What's happening? Why are you guys saying these things right now? Because that is not very Dallas Cowboy like of you guys. What's happening? Is it the running back situation? Is it loss in faith of the coach?
You know what I forgot to say last week on the show?
A coaching change mid-season? You think McCarthy just gets run out of town?
I meant to say this last week. When Prescott finishes the year without a contract extension, he's an unrestricted free agent. Also, Dallas cannot tag him. He has a no-trade clause for this season, last season, and he cannot be tagged. He has it in his contract. He cannot be tagged. So Dak Prescott, if he does not sign a contract extension before the league year is up, will be an unrestricted free agent to go wherever he chooses to go.
Do you think that this year is his last year with them?
Listen, if they don't sign him to a deal, I think it is. And I think, hello, New York. Which New York team? I don't know, but hello, New York.
Rick is an Eagles fan. He hates the Cowboys, but he sees 11-6. Bye-bye, Dak, please. I think that it's been it's one of those the fans are just tired of the product, maybe.
Listen,
of what they're putting out there.
Wherever he goes, he's A, going to get paid, and B, I think it's going to be in the state of New York.
Are the Cowboys ready to see like something different? Like, is it like a whole fresh coat of paint type of deal?
I think that's where they're going towards.
Because
this reminds me of Aaron Rodgers last year with Green Bay. This is exactly what it reminds me of.
Where it's kind of like
they're setting up for Trey. They're going to give Trey Lance a chance.
Give Trey Lance a chance.
I
Is that
really
be the slogan 2025? Give Lance a chance.
They're setting up for either Cooper Rush or Trey Lance to be the quarterback.
They only got Zeke to ship Dak and Zeke off the same way they got them together.
Yo, he is mentally checked out already.
Yeah, he's done. I was not expecting that from you, bro. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, shit, Dallas has the shot to win the NFC East this year. But if Dallas fans are saying these things,
the NFC East is going to be one with a 9-8 or 10-7 record this year. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, man. Across the board, if it's 9-8, I'm telling you right now, if the bar is only 9-8,
the Eagles will make.
I'm giving it to the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East because they don't even have to be good to win that division.
I'm not picking Dallas to win that division regardless
this year
because no team has won it back to back since 2004.
It is definitely not playing feeling today with his.
I forgot to mention that last week. I've been reading on it, and this just eerily reminds me of Aaron Rodgers' situation in Green Bay his last season. I think if Jerry really wanted Dak to stay, he would have signed him. But now, does CeeDee Lamb want to stick around if Dak's gone?
A little bit of.
Will CeeDee Lamb just play the tag and then wait another year and leave?
Eagles will have 3 losses at most. See, I can't agree with that. I think the Eagles are in for a little bit of a bumpy ride this year. I really think that you guys were going to be the ones to win this division. That's why I'm just thrown off right now.
He's befuddled.
Yeah, I'm befuddled right now by your statements because you're not playing feelings ball right now. You're calling it, and we're talking about a messy divorce here potentially for the Dallas Cowboys this year. So let's have the real conversation. Let's say Dallas comes out and they disappoint, and we're talking about a team that is 2-5. Like,
you're not the only person
McCarthy
that feels
get
that.
Fired? Like, does McCarthy get fired? Low key, Washington is going to be better than last year. Can't say why, bro. They're my sleeper this year. And if we're talking about now needing only 9 wins to win the NFC East, like Washington with their rookie quarterback is in the mix on this right now. Like, the magic number is 9.
It's crazy because Rick the other day was saying
Eagles have a ton of what ifs. Yes, they do. I like it. I like the honesty. I like the honesty right now about everybody's
Rick
team.
was just talking down about his team not too long ago. He said Dallas would win the division. Wow. They're only one fan who is optimistic about his team.
It's Matt.
And it's Matt.
And nobody believes. Nobody's even. I think it's gotten to the point, like, for Giants fans where they, like us, are just waiting to see what the hell Danny Dimes looks like this year and what he's going to be able to do and if he's going to be capable of running an offense. And knowing how much pressure is on that defense to perform. And is your offense going to be able to give you the run support that you need as far as the Giants defense goes? There's no doubt about the talent on that side of the football. Like, can the offense
Jorge Lopez of the New York Mets. I think I've been on the worst team in probably the whole effing MLB. Oh, New York isn't just shambles.
Dog, the Mets lost a doubleheader yesterday. They lost the first game in stunning fashion. Lost the second game just getting trounced. And then they lost today. Losing 3 games in 2 days is crazy. Like, they've lost their grip on reality. They've lost. I like my Philadelphia Eagles, but I also don't count my chickens until week 8. Well,
I feel you on that.
I don't know. We gotta kind of just take our biased shades off and really look at this division for what it could potentially be like this year. And the guy next to me thinks that 9 games could win the East. I might go as far as to say potentially 11 because I think that we get a good year from the Dallas Cowboys this year.
Bro, I only played you and Nick once the entire year in Dynasty.
Different divisions.
That's crazy.
We're Degeneration X, you're NWO.
The Wolf Pack.
That's what it is, you know?
Woo!
You get the feel out game. against an opponent, and then you go from there. And then it's like, maybe I'll see you in the playoffs, or maybe I won't. Maybe we meet again, and maybe we don't. You really don't know. I know I got Terrell week 1.
I was thinking about calling my team the Filthy Animals.
Filthy Animals, dog. Good times.
But I couldn't find a good picture of them.
Ain't many. They didn't get the push they deserved. They were actually a pretty cool stable. I like them. I should have taken the cash out when I had the chance. Right now, the Guardians are getting their butts whooped against the Rockies, 7-2. Current score is 7-2. Rockies over the Guardians. You've got the Royals 6-1 over the Minnesota Twins. The Toronto Blue Jays over the Chicago White Sox 3-0. Baltimore Orioles dispatching of the Boston Red Sox 6-1 earlier. The Dodgers putting a beat down on the New York Mets 10-3. The Philadelphia Eagles getting a victory back over the San Francisco Giants earlier today, 6-1. As well as the Detroit Tigers winning the matinee game earlier today, the 12:30 baseball game. Scooble pitched a freaking gem for me. I love the guy. He's one of my best picks as far as a pitcher goes. Currently up 9-2 against Chris right now. Looking at league matchups, you've got Plata and King of Crash tied right now, neck and neck matchup.
Yo, Billy Gunn is 60 years old. Look at the shape he's in.
Stayed in great shape. He was always jacked.
And I'm an ass man.
He's more in shape than some of the 20-year-old guys.
Yeah. I wish I was as jacked as him.
Up 8-4. 8-4 over the Bryce Bombers. Muddy Waters 9-2 over Sign My Hat. And Mikey and the Fighting Little Jimmies right now in a 6-4 close matchup. Of course, my real team, the New York Yankees, getting ready for first pitch in a couple of minutes. I'm excited about that. Excited about Dynasty football and all the storylines that we have that we're slowly building up for that.
July 3rd, the On the Money Sports draft selection process will happen.
For just
the draft order will be there.
Just for On the Money Sports, right? We're just doing On the Money Sports that night.
Yep, just On the Money Sports.
All right.
Mikey said he wanted to wait. Mikey said for sick picks, he's going to do a day of. I need to know what sick picks is going to be. I may not be in the league no more. I graciously dropped out. I want to be there live because I want to be President Jack Tunney. I want to be the guy when things get out of hand and you need an unbiased approach. You look at me and I put the hammer down and say, this is how it's done.
It should pan out to be an interesting season. First season without you in sick picks. So you take somebody out of the equation, you add somebody new into the equation, and it's just a different variable. It's part of what made the Dynasty startup draft so interesting. The fact that it was a couple of different cats we were drafting with, and somebody at the 101 who wasn't going to make a conventional pick. Because once somebody makes a pick you think they're going to make, it's easy to pinpoint, okay, this person's going to be there waiting for me. Like CeeDee Lamb 101. Figure it out the rest of the way.
Yo, I'll tell you what, if you need wide receivers, that's the guy to go hit up.
Yeah. I ain't trading none of
money. I wonder how Bobby feels because he also had an issue with the auto pick, and it auto picked Jalen Hurts after he selected Lamar Jackson. So I got to assume Jalen Hurts is on the trade market.
Eventually. Or, he could potentially – because at first I was saying to myself, like, yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to sell one of the guys high, whether it's Murray or Herbert. But, again, in a dynasty format where injuries happen, you think to yourself, why not just keep both? It's the same logic behind why I grab a couple of defenses and play the matchup.
I picked two defenses.
Why not just play the matchup? And why not do the same with those two quarterbacks? Yes, I got the homer pick of Will Levis as my third option at QB, but if he's out there putting up fantasy points, then that's more depth at the position. And if he turns out to not be,
I've seen they gave a third-round pick for him.
Yeah, I sent the third. Screw this draft. I'm not worried about the 2025 draft because of the fact, you know why? I don't have a team of veterans. My oldest players are 26-year-old. My Justin Herbert and my Kyler Murray. Everybody else is rookies and second-year players.
My oldest players are Mark Andrews, Baker Mayfield, and Michael Pittman.
So you have a couple of veterans, and I'm not looking at it from
I
the
have
perspective.
3 vets. That's it. Everybody else has been in the league 3 years or less. They're all entering their 4th year.
If I had
feel like you. I feel like I'm good. Like, this team's going to be solid.
If I had more veterans, I'd be looking to keep some of the picks for next year.
Let's go.
The fact that
Let's go Royals.
All rookies is that I'm looking at this year and next year for my rookie class to pan out, and I'm not going to need another draft until 2026, realistically, which is when I have the 2 first-round picks that I have for that year. Like, I still have my 2025 pick, but I may or may not move it.
All right, I'm closing the gap. I'm down by 4 now. He's got me on pitching right now because none of my pitchers have started this week. They're all starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's when my rotation's going to go ham.
Rotation's a little off. Yeah, my best pitchers are playing tonight, so I'm a little nervous as far as the weekend because I'm not sure if all of them are going to give me another outing or.
Oh, they took Brian Hayes off of the DL, so that means I'll take him out.
They're going to potentially.
And I'll cut ahead tomorrow,
on Monday or Tuesday.
I'll probably cut. Who's not making the cut? Oh, J.P. Crawford, of course.
Well, Mariners lineup, yeah, they don't. I don't like to have players that are attached to offenses that don't generate a lot of runs because that doesn't help me none. Salvi, I think it's Chris. I think it's the guy that I'm playing against this week. I have Bobby Witt, and I'm pretty sure he has Salvi, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, at least
he's somewhere that has a good lineup.
At least Sep's not getting shut out right now.
As Volpe continues his streak, 21 games in a row with a hit, Anthony Volpe gets on base to lead off the matchup with the Los Angeles Angels, the fighting little Jimmy himself. Salvi got a solo shot. So Chris's team's starting to wake up if he is on that team. That's another thing, too. On Wednesdays, you want to get as much production as you can because Thursdays, we don't even have a freaking team. Like, the whole league almost is off on Thursdays. So you're working with, like, 4 or 5 guys in your lineup, maybe a pitcher, and you're trying to get the production before you head into that day where you know you're not going to get anything. So if you're going into Thursday with the momentum, you feel good. Because that means you're heading into Friday, the weekend, with everybody back, and you have that momentum still because now your lineup is full.
Like, I'm ready.
Opponent wasn't able
I only got 9 innings pitched, so you know my starters are about to hit.
I'm going to hit my mark. I usually like to throw a lot of pitchers out there to see what people do.
I got one of the most well-balanced teams in the league.
I got one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. I last 2 weeks, I went 23-1 in categories. So
listen,
right
my
now,
waiver wire pickup, Nick Castellanos has been all right since I picked him up. The month of May, he's played way better, and
he's been doing better.
So I'll take that.
I picked up Matt Vierling on waivers, and today in the doubleheader against the Pirates, he got a home run in each game. So
it's just like Pablo Lopez. I held on to Pablo Lopez thinking maybe this guy's going to turn back into the 20-game winner he was just a year and a half, like 2 years ago. Then Sunday, while we're at your house drafting, he's just getting bombed away. I was like, thank God I released him earlier in the week.
And that sucks because it's Sunday, and Sunday's the final day to get all the production that you need.
Like, I didn't pick him. Like, I had already cut him.
Yeah, I knew you
But I was
him.
invested to see. I was invested to
you.
see, like, what he did. And I'm just watching him get beat up, and it vindicated why I got rid of him.
The Kansas City Royals are great for
my
fantasy
biggest
baseball.
pickup this year has been Chris Sale, pitching-wise.
He's the best.
Sale is
best
being
pitcher for Atlanta right now.
on a roll right now.
Bro, the Royals are good for fantasy baseball.
Yo, it was Chris who picked them
Infield
up.
is nasty this year. Like, I learned not to put my starting pitchers against the Royals lineup.
Ooh, buck to the face.
The Royals lineup screws up your ERA when you're going against those guys because they're all hitting right now. We're talking about a team that
let me tell you, if this guy stays in this game, this is why hockey players are some of the toughest players. If he's going to the dressing room, that dude comes back. Hockey players are some of the toughest athletes in all of sports.
You guys are looking good this year, bro. You guys are definitely looking good this year. Interesting to see like what lies ahead for the Kansas City Royals.
And talking about baseball, I know I hate the Braves, but it's also sad to see what happened to Acuna.
That's a major blow. We didn't discuss it on here, but we were discussing. It happened on Sunday. A lot of us were together,
and we all looked at each other like, "Damn!"
It sent shockwaves across the room and through the fantasy league. And
Bro, they already lost their best pitcher, and now they lost him.
They lost a first-round pick and a second-round pick.
They only lost the number 1 overall pick in that fantasy draft.
Acuna's done. The Braves, they can only get so far without him.
They're going to have to make a trade.
And now we get to that point in time when it's a question of which baseball teams are going to be active on the real baseball trade market based on what we've seen so far with injuries, with needs. Teams like the Royals, you're doing good right now, but what is it going to take for you to get over the hump and surpass Cleveland, take that division, and guarantee yourself a playoff spot by winning the division? A lot of teams are the Boston Red Sox. Are you going to continue to flounder, or are you going to make a move to get yourself in the mix?
Bro, the Nationals are beating up the Braves tonight.
The Cincinnati Reds, they were everybody's darling last year, and they've nosedived this year. Cincinnati Reds do not have
last place
same magic.
24-32.
They're bad. They're a
the
bad
whole Central's bad, bro. Besides the Brewers, the Cubs are 20-27. The Cardinals are 27-27.
Yeah, but the Cardinals are
the Pirates are 26-30.
The Cardinals are on a winning streak now. They were bad. The Cardinals were at the bottom of that division, and
it's just like the NL West. It's the Dodgers at 36-22. Then it's the Giants 29-28. The Pods 30-29. Arizona 25-30.
The Padres stink.
The Rockies 19-35. I mean, even the National, But
right now, the worst team in that division, the Colorado Rockies, is up 7-2 against the best team in the Central, the Cleveland Guardians, who are on a heater. I think their first loss was yesterday.
The Braves hold on and lose this game, the Phillies' cushion in the East is now at 6 games.
I mean, dude, Acuna's done. Strider's done. So it's for you guys to blow it.
Yeah.
It's for you guys to blow it.
But do I think the Braves are going to go and sit? They're still a very good team.
They're talented.
They're still going to be a wild card cable unless they really flounder. How about the Mariners overtaking the Texas Rangers and are now in first place by 3 games?
That's big for them. See how long that lasts. I heard Trout might head to Atlanta. That's the rumor mill is buzzing about talks of Mike Trout potentially going to the Atlanta Braves. And when you think about it, bro, that's the type of move they got to make. Because, yeah, you lost the Spencer Strider, but when you insert a Mike Trout into that lineup, all your pitchers are going to get the run support that they need.
Yeah.
That is, for a team that lost their ace and their number 1 player as far as a bat
that's
goes,
when Philly boos him. Let me make it perfectly clear.
That's a great heel.
If he becomes a Brave and Philly fans cheer him, I'm going to be shocked.
That is a great heel
Maybe
turn.
He gets, a cheer in that first at bat, and then after that, bro, you're hearing boos, brother.
The Boo Birds will be out and about because I still think that
because at the end of the day, the Phillies fans love the Phillies. They don't love the Braves.
Yeah, no love lost there between those 2 baseball teams. And I think that's the type of move that they need to make, a power move to keep their
Boston just sticking around, huh? Trying to get a wild card spot.
It's not their year, but eventually it will be.
The Cleveland Guardians. I'm sorry, excuse me. The Cleveland Indians doing what they normally do. Great regular season team, and then they'll flounder in the playoffs.
Yeah, somebody will beat them. Somebody will beat them. It's just somebody. The Orioles. The Orioles will take out the Orioles.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have
the Guardians.
We have a rumor mill.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, there's conversations going on right now,
and I'm going to show it.
Remember,
I hope it gets around the area.
Remember,
and I hope it eventually hits the waves of the radios. We have it right there, You heard it here first. Wednesday. May 29th, 9:47.
Shout out to you, Chris.
On the Money Sports.
The sources. We got the sources.
You're killing me, Smalls.
You got Rose on one side. You're killing me, Smalls, dropping the gem as far as that would be a major shockwave type.
If it happens, Chris deserves all the credit.
It would be if the Royals take the division from the Guardians, it's going to be because of the bullpen. The bullpen is still bad and needs to step up to help finish games. So that could be the reason why you guys don't win the division, is because when it gets to that 6th, 7th inning, things start to get a little bit shaky. I did see that the Twins were putting up runs on you guys the last couple of days. You guys handled the Athletics series more or less pretty well. It seems like the Athletics kind of fizzled out. They started the year, they were hot to trot, and then they just came back down to reality. When it comes crashing
down and it hurts inside.
That's the Athletics. But the Royals, bro, you guys are looking consistent. There could be some flaws. We all have them, but nonetheless, like, you guys are competing for the division. Like, who would have thought in 2024 that we're talking about the Kansas City Royals competing for the Central Division? It's a guaranteed playoff spot, bro. No matter how people want to piece it up, you get to the playoffs, and that's all that freaking matters. That's what it's all about, man. And next week on this podcast, talk a little bit more football, talk a little bit more OTAs, a little bit more dynasty football, more or less what we were doing tonight. Just all around type of episode, because that's more or less what the summer is going to be about. When Marvel starts dropping more content, we'll dip into some nostalgia mania on the podcast as well, with the mix of the football news that's happening. And the NBA Finals is about to kick off. Can the Dallas Mavericks overcome the Wolves and get themselves to the finals, and we get a Celtics versus Mavs series, or does the unthinkable happen, and do the Timberwolves make the comeback, beat the Mavericks, and get themselves into the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics? Regardless, the Celtics are in. The other two teams still fighting. Baseball, what's going to happen in Sandlot Baseball Association as we get closer to hitting season for the summertime? What crazy trades are made from now until then in Dynasty? For those of you who are with us in the On the Money Sports Fan Forum, you know that even if the podcast is about to end here, the conversation never ends in the forum. Catch up with all the latest news in sports. It is the official
According
internet sports bar.
To Robert Murray of Baseball Insiders, the Angels have begun listening on certain players in trade discussions. LA is currently 20-33 with 8 games out of a playoff spot.
I'm glad that they learned from their mistake of losing Ohtani for absolutely nothing last season. Not just losing him, but him going across town to play for the Dodgers.
He could have.
You could have fleeced somebody for. You could have gotten
for a rental.
You could have gotten an entire farm system for a team that doesn't know how to develop players. You could have gotten everything you needed for the next 10 years. And there would have been so many suitors willing to pay you whatever you wanted. Hell, the freaking Baltimore Orioles could have thrown Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman in your face. Like, you could have really fleeced the team for their future. Like, the Boston Red Sox, like, it's crazy. The amount of trade partners that, like, our teams would have been knocking. Our teams, the Phillies and the Yankees, would have at least given you a phone call and be like, here, what's the price tag on that? Just checking.
Yeah, bro, they would have sent Castellanos over there. There was a package, if I'm not mistaken.
We would have sent.
I could tell you right now.
We would have sent them Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, everybody who we're about to lose for nothing if we don't trade them at the deadline this year, would have gotten sent to Los Angeles, and you would have at least had a potent, 3 through 5, as far as your batting order goes. To their credit, they do have a couple of hitters this year, but. Seems like for the most part, the Angels are just the type of team that struggle to consistently.
Bro, something about, I think it was Ranger. They offered for Ohtani, Ranger.
Come on, Guardians.
Castellano, Stott, and another player. They offered Suarez, Stott, Castellanos, and another player for Ohtani, but they wanted an assurance from Ohtani that he would sign an extension with them. That's what the rumor was.
They ain't worth
and that he wouldn't agree to it. So Dombrowski is like, then we're not doing this deal. And from what I've read and what's been told is that was the best package that the Angels were offered for him.
And that's not nearly enough. Not no Castellanos and no Stott. Like, I'm sorry, but nah. For Ohtani, bro, that is a generational player. Currently making over $700 million with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Somebody would have had to cough up their farm system for this kid. There was no way around it. That would be the only deal. Like, somebody would have
I agree.
to just, you'd have to be willing to risk it all for Ohtani. Risk it all knowing that he could leave you. That's the tricky game that you play, which makes sense as to why teams weren't going to play that game. You know what I mean? It's too last second for teams that were competing in that moment, saying to themselves, damn, do we absolutely gut our roster for this guy? And then he leaves us and ends up a Dodger anyway. Can you imagine?
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Can you imagine? You know, imagine being a team that is farm system rich like the Baltimore Orioles and giving away Gunnar Henderson.
We don't even know when Trout's coming back.
Don't.
That's another thing.
Something to keep your eye on, folks. It's going to be a busy summer. Who shows up for OTAs? Who stays away? What trades go down?
From Marin Angus Coombs. Los Angeles Angels center fielder Mike Trout told reporters, including Rhett Bullinger of MLB.com on Saturday, he's making progress after undergoing surgery repair, torn meniscus in his left knee. There is still no timetable. I'm feeling good. Every day is getting better. Just coming to rehab and just trying to get the strength around the back. It's crazy how much you lose when you're not really walking on, so you're just trying to get strength back. He's probably going to be ready by after the All-Star break. Yeah, he's probably going to be back in middle of July. So we'll see. Like, it's a lot to ask from him to be the savior of this putrid team. But like I said, if teams know, players, it's just like in the NBA. If you're a player and you know your team hasn't shown you a historical presence of trying to actually win, then why are you signing a contract to stay there? You can go on the open market and just make a ton of money. Or you go to the team you want to go to and be happy. Like, look at the rumor mill with James Harden. He's again unhappy. He wanted to go to the Clippers so bad, just like he wanted to go to Philly so bad. And now he's unhappy again. When does it start to be the player, not the team? On that front. But it's just like players, like, you don't want to be somewhere, then don't sign. It's that simple. Don't sign. Wait it out. Bet on yourself. So we're a ways away from trades happening. That I could tell you. It'll start getting spicy in the beginning of July.
It's already getting spicy in the Kingpins Dynasty League, though, man. We ain't waiting. We ain't freaking waiting. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Paul, thanks to Chris, Bebe, Matt, Mike D, the man of the hour, Mike D himself.
Matt, accept it.
We got trades of flowing on and off
it's
camera.
It's fair, Matt. It's fair.
Live and in living color. We'll do it live, like Matt said earlier. Nonetheless,
I ain't getting fleeced for that cat.
Same time, same place. On the Money Podcast. Join the On the Money Sports Fan Forum. No one's beating the Celtics. 18 losses all year. I don't want to hear this injury stuff. We are the team to beat. If we were another team, we'd be praised over your record. But I can handle the hate. Celtics in 6. I'm not hating on the Celtics. You guys just got to close finally.
Got to win.
You guys are the 49ers of the NBA.
Yeah.
And you need to finally win the championship after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Because there's no excuse for the Celtics either. There's no excuse for anybody. No excuse for the Mavericks. No excuse for anybody who's still alive right now. Put it like that. Celtics losing in the finals. Oh, man. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. We'll see you again.
Celtics,
same time, same place.
Win, and we'll talk about you. We'll devote an episode to you guys.
Celtics
How about
win.
that?
Just come on the podcast.
Listen, the Celtics win. Eric, right here,
bro. Just join the pod. Talk your shit here live. We aren't the Knicks.
Remember that, Eric.
Peace, Chris. Talk to you in a bit, buddy.
Celtics win. You come on this podcast and you just let it out.
And I appreciate
Paul,
the
Celtics win.
And Chris, the gem that you shared. as far as the rumor mill goes with Mike Trout and where he could potentially be playing, bro, that's some historic shit right there for us to document on tonight's, what is this, May 29th, 2024, On the Money podcast. You know, you heard it, bro. Chris and On the Money Sports, man.